This is the notes for 2.4a slope-intercept form of the equation. Again, we've worked with slope-intercept form before. It is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope, b is your y-intercept. So question 1 is basically a very simple question. It says find the slope and the y-intercept. Again, we know the slope is what's in front of our x. So our slope in this case is 3. Our y-intercept is what's being added or subtracted from the x part. So in this case, our y-intercept is a -8. Alright, question 2 is a basic question asking you to figure out what each part of the equation represents. So here it says Diana is a software saleswoman. Let y represent her total pay. Let x represent the number of copies math is fun she sells. Suppose x and y are related by the given equation. Okay, so this is slope-intercept form. They just wrote it in reverse. We could flip this to be y equals 110x plus the 1600, and it's the same exact thing. So if it helps you to flip it, go ahead and do so. Now, there's two questions here. The first one says, what is the change in Diana's total pay for each copy she sells? Okay, so change, this is looking at your rate of change. Again, rate of change is just another way to say slope. So if we look at our equation, our slope is 110. Question 2b says, what is Diana's pay if she does not sell any copies of Math is Fun? Okay, so that means if she sells no copies, our x is 0. So we're looking at our y-intercept, which is the 1600. Okay, question 3 says write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line with a slope of 8 and y-intercept of -8. So again, we know that it's y equals mx plus b. So here, our slope is 8. Our b is -8. Okay, so finally, instead of leaving this as plus and -8, we go ahead and we change this to y equals 8x minus 8. Question 4 says a line passes through the point -8, -4, and has a slope of 5/2. Write the equation in slope-intercept form for this line. Okay, to do this, we're going to start out with our point slope form, which we know is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Okay, so we'll start with this form, and we'll basically convert it into our slope-intercept form of y equals mx plus b. Okay, so to start doing this, we're going to write our equation. So we have y minus our y1. Our y1 is a -4. And again, instead of writing minus a -4, we know we change that to +4. M is our slope, which they tell us is 5/2. And then x minus our x1. But again, from our point, our x1 is a negative, so instead of writing minus a negative, we write plus, so we get +8. So now to convert from point slope to slope-intercept, it's going to be 2 steps. The first step is we're going to distribute this 5/2. So our right side, or our left side rather, stays the same, so we get y plus 4 on the left. Here we distribute the 5/2, so 5/2 times x is 5/2 x. And then 5/2 times the 8 gives me 20. Then finally, our second step would be to move whatever is beside our y, using either plus or minus. In this case, it's a plus 4, so we know we would subtract 4, all right, and we're going to subtract it from the 20. So now if we do this, on our left side, we're left with just our y. On our right side, the 5/2x is unchanged. And then finally, 20 minus 4 gives me a positive 16, so this is plus 16. So my equation is y equals 5/2x plus 16. All right, finally, question 5. Okay, it says the equation of the line is given below. Find the slope and the y-intercept when using them to graph the line. Okay, so to do this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to convert this into slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b. To do this, there's two basic steps. The first step is to move your x to the other side using either addition or subtraction. In this case, it's a positive 2, so I know to move it to the other side, I would subtract 2. So on the left side, my 2x's cancel, I'm left with the 3y. On my right side, negative 3 minus 2x, again, these are not like terms, I cannot combine them, so I just have to simply write it as negative 3 minus 2x. Next, since I have a number on my y, I go ahead and I divide all three pieces by that number. So here, 3 divided by 3 is 1, leaving me with just y. Negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. Negative 2 divided by 3, that's going to give me a decimal, so I leave that as negative 2 over 3x. Okay, so now to get this in slope-intercept form, I'm simply going to flip-flop these. So this negative 2x comes up to be, so negative 2/3 x. This negative 1 comes back, I take the negative sign with it to have it as negative 1. So now I have it in slope-intercept form. So from here, I know that my slope is, or my y-intercept rather, is negative 1. My slope is what's in front of the x, or in this case, negative 2 over 3. So now, as you remember, to graph this, we start with our y-intercept. Our y-intercept's negative 1, so we go to negative 1 on the y-axis, and we put a point. Next, we use our slope. Remember, top number tells you if you're going up or down, bottom number is always to the right. So here, negative 2 tells us that from our y-intercept we're going to go down 2, and then the 3 tells us we go right 3. So again, from our y-intercept we go down 2, right 3, we put our second point, and we connect them to get our line. So that is the notes for 2.4a point slope form.